Hello everyone, welcome to my office at home where I've been since March, like you, locked up. Robert has asked me to record a message for you and to read the psalm. I'd like to begin by thanking you for caring for my daughter Freya. She's still a member of the youth group, so thanks Beck, thanks all members of the youth group and Carol Ann for organising that. She has a great time every Sunday night. Shout out to Josh, who's doing year 12 and also doing amazing techie work for Uniting by the Bay. So shout out to you, Josh. Also, I'd like to acknowledge the people that you have lost over the last 2 years, the dear faithful members of your church, loved friends and family. So I acknowledge the grief and the mourning that you will have gone through and are still going through. Robert has asked me to read Psalm 90, verses 1 to 6 and 11 to 17. You know I love the Psalms. I just want to remind you that we're all here to sow seeds. The seeds that you sowed through some of your activities have borne fruit. I'll let you know that the families who came to Messy Church that you started on their faith journey, a lot of them have actually found their way to Berwick, and they're now members of Berwick Uniting, St Andrews Uniting, and they're attending Messy Church there. And one of the nursing homes that you have had such a long-standing relationship with contacted me to do some end-of-life care on the phone, on the WhatsApp in the end it was, during this time of lockdown, with a faithful member of the community there who had attended worship services that I led with Kay and Kath, a whole heap of you. So, Psalm 90. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the mountains were brought forth, or ever you had formed the earth and the world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. You turn us back to dust and say, turn back, you mortals. For 1,000 years in your sight are like yesterday when it's past, or like a watch in the night. You sweep them away. They are like a dream, like grass that is renewed in the morning. In the morning it flourishes and is renewed. In the evening it fades and it withers. Who considers the power of your anger? Your wrath is as great as the fear that is due you. So teach us to count our days, that we may gain a wise heart. Turn, O Lord, how long? Have compassion on your servants. Satisfy us in the morning with your steadfast love, so that we may rejoice and be glad all our days. Make us glad as many days as you have afflicted us, as many years as we have seen evil. Let your work be manifest to your servants, and your glorious power to their children. Let the favour of the Lord our God be upon us, and prosper for us the work of our hands. O prosper the work of our hands. Thanks be to God.
Hasn't it been great to have Claire with us this morning? Thanks, Claire, for sharing that greeting and that Bible reading. May God bless you and your congregation this week too. Many of us have been yearning for the end of lockdown, haven't we? Yearning to see our family that maybe we haven't seen apart from on some electronic means for months and months. Perhaps we're really hanging out to get something from the shop that we really need, or to get a haircut. I've been looking forward to playing golf, managed to get that done this last week, and my haircut. Still waiting to see our family though. We're longing to see them. It'll still be a while, I'm sure, before we can meet together as church. and even longer before we're able to sing together, which is something I really love doing, praising God with God's people. Now, the psalm we read today is a psalm of yearning. The heading says it's a psalm of Moses, and it's about Moses longing to have that fellowship, that relationship with God that once he knew. That happens to us a lot in life, doesn't it? That yearning, longing for something in the future. Often we're putting our trust in something that's not really going to bring ultimate happiness. Can you remember being back in school, or maybe your children or grandchildren? They're longing to get out of school because they're sure that once they get out of school and start earning some money, things will be perfect for them. Well, of course they never are. Others, young adults, yearning to get married because they somehow know that that will be a lifetime of happiness, and forget about the difficulties that some of us know along the way included with that happiness. Or perhaps we're waiting for the children to be born, or for the children to leave home, or for when we retire. Now, they're all good things to look forward to, but none of them have the complete answer to happiness, and often we're still left with a longing, a yearning within us. As I prepared for today, I thought about a book that had helped me a lot, and I first read it maybe 30 years ago. It's called Yearning, and was written by Craig Barnes, who's now the president of Princeton Theological Seminary, the largest Presbyterian seminary in the United States. But when he wrote this, he was a young parish minister. And what he was trying to work out was, how do I apply all that I've learned in theological college to having to be in the emergency rooms of hospitals, to sit with a family where someone has died, to deal with those situations where there is loss, where there is not that happiness and fulfillment. What he realised is that God's grace comes to us especially in those times. That the yearning we have deep within us is not just for when we get out of school, or when we get married, or when we retire. There's a deeper yearning there, a yearning for a relationship with God. And so God's promise is not that we will be always happy and always lead a completely fulfilled life. God's promise is that in the midst of lockdowns, in emergency rooms of hospitals, or wherever we are, in those situations of stress and difficulty, God comes especially near to us. And that's important for us, because as Augustine reminded us, we're designed, we're built for a relationship with God, and our hearts are restless until they rest in God. So we look forward to the end of lockdown, or even this Sunday when maybe more restrictions will be lifted. That will be great to have a bit more freedom to see family more, or whatever it is we're wanting to do. But the real issue is that our fulfillment comes from a relationship with God that allows us to live creatively in every situation, good and bad. In the Gospel reading today, Jesus puts it a bit differently. You'll know this reading, and you know the two things that he said. He said the whole of the Old Testament can be summed up in two things, and you remember what they are. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and soul and strength, and love your neighbour as yourself. When we do these things, we realise God's love coming to us, and not only coming to us, but flowing through us. And in that, we find our fulfillment. So, this week, may you know the love of God flowing into you. May you be enabled to share that with others, that you may know the fulfillment, the peace of God, which passes all understanding. Peace be with you, and also with you.
Because the Lord's my shepherd, I bear everything I need. He leads me by the quiet streams to lie in fields of green. When my health, it starts to fail, my strength He helps it mend. He guides me in the right paths, helps me honor Him again. And when I walk through darkness, I will not be afraid, for You are close beside me, guiding all the way, all the way. You provide for me abundantly, though enemies surround. You welcome me as Your guest, greater blessings can't be found. Your goodness, love and kindness will be with me day and night, and Your house will be my home, always, all my life. And when I walk through darkness, I will not be afraid, for You are close beside me, guiding all the way, all the way.